Georgia suffered a humiliating defeat by Russia and the warlords. They even burned down the parliament building in the capital Tbilisi. President Gamsa fled into exile in Chechnya. 3 breakaway regions, South Ossetia, Azaria and Abkhazia, had won independence from Georgia. Although minuscule, they decided to face the future alone, as private fiefs, but with Russian support. The private militia, backed by thousands of Russian soldiers, built a ring of steel around these breakaway territories. The Georgians who continued to live there were virtual prisoners. In 1992, Edward Shevardnadze, who was by now unemployed in Moscow, was invited back to take over the Georgian presidency. But under Shevardnadze, Georgia's problems were only just beginning. The country was now cut off from Russia, the only available market for all its agricultural and industrial production. The railway line was blocked by the breakaway states. Farms and factories fell into ruin. Corruption was rampant as Shevardnadze, his family and friends, and his bureaucrats plundered the country's riches. The mafia moved in to exploit a virtually lawless state. Georgia became the world's #1 country for money laundering. More than 60% of the population found themselves living on less than $1 a day. By 2003, what had been the Soviet Union's most prosperous state was derelict and economically ruined. In the face of widespread discontent, Shevardnadze promised massive reforms and stood to be re-elected. The election was a farce. On November 2nd, 2003, Edward Shevardnadze rigged the ballot, and everyone knew it. This was the moment when the Georgian people said, enough. Prompted by the parties which had opposed Shevardnadze, they took to the streets in their thousands. At the outset, militiamen and several police tried to frighten the crowds into submission. 3 people were slightly injured. Shevardnadze may not be blameless, but he was not a man to order the shooting of his own people. The crowd disarmed the gunman. Each revolution needs a charismatic leader.
Shevardnadze is mocking us. He is spitting in our faces. We are willing to give this person a last chance.
It was when a 36-year-old lawyer, Mikhail Saakachvili, came to the fore.
President Shevardnadze and his government promised the people that these elections would be a moment of great change. And the people had great hope, and they insisted on it too. They desired an election of change. But after the election, they discovered that the promises were completely false. They simply told us, okay, you've created an opposition, and you've had great success. The opposition has won between 19 and 20% of the vote. So the opposition will be happy, the people will be happy, but we will continue to rule the country as before. And that was completely ridiculous.